Alrighty, welcome. We are going to look at enums across two videos, enums without flags and enums with flags. Flags really baffle some people. Actually, some people with years of experience in IT. Flags in C# apparently are confusing. Flags are a great tool. They do have a limitation. I have an Excel spreadsheet ready to go on talking about that limitation towards the end of the second video. But let's look at simple enums. I have a Windows form project started. Nothing special about it. I'm going to go up here to get the toolbox. I'm going to drop a label, a combo box, and a text box on my scene. Where's that text box? Okay. The text box will do first. Just going to drag it out here. I'm going to make it multi-line in the properties window, and I am going to say scroll bars vertical. We don't really need to scroll horizontally. Bring the combo box and the label down here. Change the text in the label to enum. This will be for the non-flagged enums. Rename the combo box CMB enum. Pretty simple. Go over to the events, and the selected index change is the event I want to give it. Up at the top, I'm going to create a simple enum pet. I am going to base it on byte, and that will become understandable later on. Right now, we really don't need a none because we don't have flags in yet. A none value, but with flags, it's really a good idea to start off with a none value. And like I said, this one is very simple. I'm going to have another array up here. Or an array up here, and it's going to be pet descriptions. And that's going to be it goes per. Absolute laziness. It goes bok. I was raised on a farm. I never had a pet chicken. We had a bunch of chickens. I had a pet pig, though, and a pet bull. But no pet chicken. Always had to go get the chicken stink out of the hen house, I guess. Kind of made me dislike them. Actually, I had a number of pet cows. Okay. Just rambling on here while I'm typing. The first method, we're not even going to look at our enum. TB selection. I called it something else, or I didn't give it a name. Hold on. Yeah, let's give it a name, TB selection. That's what everything is based on. So, TB selection.text is equal to pet descriptions .cmb enum selected index. Now this is really not a very good example as of yet. So I go over here. I did not load my combo box yet. Hold on. In the form creation, string values is equal to enum.getNames, type of pet. Get names. Did you do that for Microsoft? All right. And CBE num items add values in. And I'm going to go ahead and change my combo box a little bit here. I'm going to change this drop down style to list. Now run. It goes per, it goes bok, it goes bubble. Okay. Disgustingly, nothing there. We're not even really using the enum. So, let's say though we're going to the database and we're getting our enum from there. So our combo box really is representative of our database. And we have an enum value, not a selected index. So I am casting my enum, my selected index, into a pet to become the enum. And I'm casting it back into an integer. See if it still works. And everything still works. So, while this is the simplest example of an enum is to give a numeric value, a non-floating point numeric value, a name, which is kind of drives you nuts if you think, because we have to actually cast it. But that's fine. We're giving number 0 literally the name of cat. We're giving the number 1 the name of chicken. We've actually assigned these names to those numbers. So it's not Guppy is number 3. It is number 3 is Guppy now. And once we get flags in the next video, it starts to become apparent why. It becomes much more useful, much more handy. But this is very handy. If you have a bunch of bunch of combo boxes at the top of your whatever, even your web form, your XAML form, whatever, you don't really have to do a lot of if statements that you see a lot of people doing. If you arrange everything based on the array or based on a list. In this case, really, array is all we need. This could be an array of structs that actually have multiple values, and we're not doing if statements. Conditional statements are not evil, but they're abused right now, and that slows a lot of people's code, a lot of people's applications down. We don't want that. So this is part 1. It may be combined with part 2 because it's so short. I don't know yet. Let's see how long part 2 is. I'll see you in the next video. If you got something out of this, like and subscribe, and God bless. Alrighty, we are back. Second part of the slab. Setup's pretty simple. We're going to go back to our form, go back to our toolbox, add a checked list box to our screen. Scale it a little bit, I guess, if you want. We don't really have any long names. I'm going to call it CLB Enums. And now I'm going to jump back to my code and load it. We'll go ahead and load it right along with CMB Enum. Exact same way. I want to do one other thing to it. I want it to check on click. Yes, I want it to check on click. Otherwise, you have to double click like you're in Blender or Inkscape. It drives me nuts. Going up to the pets, the pet array, or the pet enum, I'm adding the flags. I'm adding a none, and then I'm adding the actual value. And you can do this without flags, but there are some helpful functions inside of flags inside of Enum that will help you with the flags. We're not going to go into those because I never use them. Okay, so it goes nothing because we've added none. Flags allow one value. Let's create it up here somewhere. I don't know, right here. So flags allow a single value to have multiple values because of the way they're numbered. If you have both cat and chicken selected, the value will be 3. There is no other way to get 3 from these values other than adding cat and chicken. That's why we number them this way. None, of course, is 0. We start off at 1. The next value will be 1 plus 1, which is 2. The next value will be 2 plus 2, which is 4, each level doubling. But we need one other thing. And there's no possible way I'm typing all this in. Basically, the number of possible combinations is equal to our largest value times 2. That means with 6 possible entries in none, our largest value is 32. We have 64 possible combinations. I ain't typing those in. So we need another pet description because when we select cat and chicken as our pets, it's going to have a different description. And we need we don't want to go through checking all over again. So we will have a combined pets description that simply would tell us what we have checked from the value. I will put this somewhere. I guess I'll put it in the description on the YouTube page. Copy this in, I guess. And that will make so you don't have to type all this in if you're trying to follow along. But we're getting to the way to check if an enum value is selected and if you want to remove it, or how to remove it and how to add it. We need some kind of method here. We need an event. It's actually selected value is what I ended up using. I never liked this. I've been around long enough that I actually remember when Windows Forms was new. It was in beta. And I never liked the checklist box. It always annoyed me. There was no way to loop through it and say, is this one checked? Instead, you have on it a method to say that this one is checked, or that these are the checked ones. That doesn't give us an index. So first of all, clear out our text box. Our pet value will be equal to none because we're going to add values to it. Do enum try parse of the type of pet, our enum value. We're going to parse the name in the box. We have to make this an object. We're parsing it into an object, so our value will be there. And then we're going to add that to our enum array, and we do that this way. This will make this value have a flagged in our enum. It will add this value to our enum selection. Basically, it's the easiest way to do it. Easiest way to say it. Let's just go ahead and put that at the top. change that like that. Now we're going to our second description. And we're adding whichever one we just got to there. Really not impressive yet, but it will be right here. We're going to go to our combined pet descriptions. Once again, cast a byte around the pet value. That means everything's selected in there. So if we have, once again, cat and chicken selected, we're going to the third combined pet description. So we'll go to cat and chicken, which I can tell you don't get along. And that should be it. Cat, it goes per, and what's in our value is just cat. Cat goes per, chicken goes bok bok, and cat and chicken. And it's working. It's telling us everything that we have in there. So, let's take this one more level. Let's say I don't have a combo box here. Once again, these are representing our database. This could really be used in game programming. Each one of these values aside, possibly, Fallout 4 uses cells. Basically, Minecraft uses cells. Warcraft uses cells, and that cell has to know what's all the way around it, what's on top of it, what's below it, etc. And each one of these could be a side of the cell to say what that neighbor is. But right now I'm going to add a button here. To remove what is selected. Let's see here, button. Just plop it right there. This is probably what most people were looking for. That and add X. So with that, we will go through our code again. Okay, so we're not really going to care whether or not it's in there. First of all, we need pet removed is equal to exactly like we have it up there. I was told to scroll down more. So now I want to, first thing I want to do before I do this, what is selected, if values, get all the values from pet. And now I'm going to check if a value is selected. I use a single ampersand, not the double ampersand. let's just put this up here, say before. Now, if we remove whatever's in there, this is going to be after. And I'm going to do this again. Just copy and paste it. And I'm going to put another line return right there. So I'm getting all possible values, checking if it was if that value is in our pet value. That's what we're checking here. Then add it. I'm removing whatever. This will work on everything but none. That's why none is always 0. You'll see other people putting other values in none, but it really won't work because you are removing 0 from the value, which means that the value is still 0. If you also notice, you will also notice it will always say that none is selected. All right, so let's select cat, dog, pig, and I'm going to remove cat. It goes per. You didn't run there. Why is that? Oh, I didn't. Made myself nervous there. Click the little fire button to say hot update. Okay, so turn cat back on, turn dog back on. And I want to remove cat. So before none was selected, cat was selected, dog was selected, pig was selected. After none selected, dog selected, and pig is selected. So this check will always say yes, none is selected. But still the way we check. And another method you can do is, that really bugs you, pet, no, it's not enum has flag, so it would be impetValue.has flag, the V. Now that should take care of none. I don't remember. Like I said, I don't really work with the built-in stuff because it wasn't always there. And yeah, it does not take care of it. It still says that none was selected. So 0 is a possible result. All it's saying is that this number is a possible result of adding the numbers. So you could get rid of none all the way around, but normally you need a none there. So if the total value of pet value is 0, then we say it is none. Other than that, we ignore none. Okay, but that, scroll back down here to remove. Looking at all this, you kind of get the idea that, gosh, I could just go on forever with this. I could just do all kind of wonderful things. You cannot. There's a very big limitation on enum flags. And that is how far you can go. So many situations in business and game programming, everything will be broken down very nicely. And all you have to do is break everything up into a nice enum. Let's go over to Excel though. But limitations are present. So, and they're based on the size the type that we base our enum on. What I mean is, if we base it on byte, then 256 is larger than our maximum byte size, which is 255. The max value of a byte, which is 0-based, all these are 0-based, and the max value is 255. A byte is, of course, 1 byte in size. A short or a int 16 is 2 bytes in size, and its maximum value is 32,767. That means that you have a maximum number of values in your list. There are 16 with 0. In other words, you can only have 16 values with none in there. For int 32, which is 4 bytes in size, you have a maximum value of, or a maximum count of 32 with 0. I want you to think about that, though. The number of possible combinations is equal to our maximum value that we use times 2. So we currently have six values. Therefore, we have 64 possible combinations. I can get back here. So if you notice, I numbered them, and we have, well, in that case, only 32, because that is for the single select. But over here we have 64 possible combinations. Not very big. Hold on. So if we just keep on, if we add everything, there's 64 other possibilities total, because we have 6. Therefore, if you go to an int, you have 16,384. What is that? That is cell B17 plus B17. That's how many possible, that's how big your array is got to be. 32,768 is the maximum size of your array for that's 15 possible combinations. When you're modeling, that's not so bad, because you're going to model all those sides and you're just going to do different combinations. It's probably going to take you a week, and if you mess up, it's probably going to annoy you. But still, that's how many you have. Now, if we go to a int 64, which is 8 bytes in size, and if you're doing something like Minecraft, 1,000,000 blocks per chunk, 1,000,000 times 8 is 8 million bytes. And if you have 400 chunks out there, that's extremely a large amount of RAM. That's a bunch of RAM. That's gigabytes of RAM. And you also got to consider that your support array is this value times plus itself. Is how big your support array is going to be. So just to get 63 possible values. That's why Minecraft only has 4 sides. So a byte actually could support up to octagonal in game programming. And there are still a bunch of uses to go out here. If you only have one enum, this enum declared once or twice, that's not that big of a deal. That's only 16 bytes. That's nothing. But when you're thinking about it, you know, if you're doing something very programmatically where you're creating your text streams from code, dynamically from code, then that's possible. You don't have to create the array. But if you need static arrays beforehand, you're really going to, you're only a human being, I'm sorry, and you're really going to stop up around here, you know, at max. A short really is your maximum possible. Because when you hit integer, I mean, a short's going to be huge anyway. 32,767, or should I say 66, this is actually that doubled. 65,536 possibilities, possible combinations is a lot. So you just got to take that. You got to accept that you're a human being, and that's not a good goal to set. Enums with flags, enum without flags, though, are just such a time saver and a memory saver, especially when you have a selection, a nice, well coordinated selection. If you don't need flags, if it's not possible that someone has multiple things selected, then you're good to go. You know, 64, 1,000 possible. I can imagine a combo box with 1,000 options, but whatever. If that's what you're developing, that's fine. And you can also do other things like put function pointers in here, method pointers in here, for a little bit of lazy programming in .NET. So whenever they select something, your user selects something like cat. Maybe you actually play a sound of a cat. I don't know, whatever you're working on. The main thing, though, I'm getting at is it's not really that difficult, but it's not really that well documented of how to remove items, add items, and check items and flags. And that's really what this was all about. Hope I helped you out. If you got something out of this, like and subscribe. God bless.